Washington Pod presents EARL Nightingale.
The other day, some friends and I were talking about man's faults and his propensity for getting into trouble of one kind or another. We finally agreed that what gets most people into trouble, the agency that has caused more trouble, pain, bloodshed, and grief in the world, is man's ability to speak, to open his big mouth and put his foot into it. Too often, I think, we forget the importance of silence. Far more sales have been lost by having said too much than by having said too little. I heard a speech in New York City one time in which the speaker said, "The Bible tells us that Samson slew 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass. And every day, all over the country, 50,000 sailors are killed with the same weapon." An excellent command of the English language is vital to the really successful salesperson, but he also knows when to turn it off, when to listen, when to simply sit and nod and look interested in what his prospect is saying, and to perhaps interject a word here and there calculated to keep the ball rolling. In my books of quotations, the wisdom of silence is given a lot of space. It seems that most writers, thinkers, and philosophers agreed that knowing when to keep silent is one of man's highest and most difficult achievements. In fact, of all the virtues, Zeno chose silence, for by it, he said, "I hear other men's imperfections and conceal my own." F.W. Robertson said, "A silent man is easily reputed wise." It's amazing but true that a person will advance farther faster by sharply limiting what he has to say than by trying to show how much he knows by talking too much. And Bulwer said, "The main reason why silence is so efficacious an element of repute is, first, because of the magnification which proverbially belongs to the unknown, and secondly, because silence provokes no man's envy and wounds no man's self-love." Makes sense, doesn't it? Most of the embarrassing moments we can remember and the pain we've inflicted on others and ourselves have come about because we didn't have enough sense or self-control to merely keep silent instead of speaking. How often is silence the wisest of replies? And it's been written that well-timed silence hath more eloquence than speech. And a silent man's words are not brought into court, and a slip of the foot may soon be recovered, but that of the tongue, perhaps never. And again, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and if you don't say it, you'll never have to unsay it. Refusing to be embroiled in an argument is the way to win it every time. We're noisiest when we're little children. Gradually, as we grow into maturity, our sound should lessen in both definitions of the word volume. Here's another. Nature has given us 2 ears, 2 eyes, and but 1 tongue, to the end that we should hear and see more than we speak. And another important point, neither speak well nor ill of yourself. If well, men will not believe you. If ill, they'll believe a great deal more than you say. And talking comes by nature, silence by wisdom. Of course, I'm a fine one to be talking about the wisdom of silence. It's also been written that he who would close another man's mouth should first tie his own.